Welcome to His Way is Perfect. Most Christians, unfortunately, have a limited understanding of Paul's letters. When they come across the term, the spirit of the law, in Romans or Corinthians, they quickly assume it has a mystical or supernatural meaning. They often use these verses as evidence to support the idea that the law has been abolished, without taking the time to conduct proper research. So what exactly is the distinction between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law? Let's start by reading Romans chapter 2, verse 27. And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee, who by the letter and circumcision do transgress the law? For he is not a Jew which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Elohim. They often use verses like 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6, who has made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter killeth, but the Spirit gives life. But if the ministration of death, written and engraven in stones, was glorious, so that the children of Israel could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses, for the glory of his countenance, which glory was to be done away. It's important that we approach verses like this with caution and avoid jumping to conclusions. Merely repeating what we hear in church without verifying its accuracy is not a wise practice. Just because someone is standing in front of a room does not guarantee their expertise on the subject matter. Therefore, it is essential for us to conduct a thorough research if we genuinely believe in the Bible. Shouldn't we take the initiative to explore its depths ourselves? Isn't our life journey deserving of such an investment? We often take the time to familiarize ourselves with the rules of our jobs, schools, and even sports. So why shouldn't we also strive to understand the principle of the Most High? So how do we understand the letter of the law versus spirit of the law? Is it really some supernatural thing that takes place? To gain a comprehensive understanding of his teaching on the letter of the law, let's review it in the context of the United States legal system. In the United States legal system, the spirit of the law refers to the underlying principal values and intended purpose behind a particular law or legal provision. It involves understanding the broader objective and societal goals that the law aims to achieve, rather than focusing solely on the literal or technical interpretation. The spirit of the law takes into account the legislative intent, historical context, societal values, and desired outcomes that the law seeks to promote. It is concerned with the overall purpose, fairness, and justice that the law intends to serve. By considering the spirit of the law, judges, lawyers, and legal practitioners can interpret and apply the law in a manner that aligns with the underlying objective, even if the specific wording or language may be open to different interpretations. The spirit of the law helps ensure that the legal system upholds the fundamental principles and values it seeks to protect and promote. Now, after reviewing the United States legal system, the meaning of the spirit of the law, it should help us get a better understanding of Paul's writings, because it's virtually the same concept. The legal system comes from many of the Most High's commandments. Paul, in his teachings about the distinction between the letter and the spirit of the law, conveys that simply adhering to the literal words of the law without understanding its purpose is incomplete. The letter of the law encompasses surface level observance based solely on what is written. It's void of comprehension. On the other hand, the spirit of the law is not some supernatural event. It involves grasping the underlying intent and the meaning behind the law's precepts. It entails a deeper understanding and appreciation of the principle and purposes that the law seeks to convey. For example, in the dietary laws, starting with Leviticus chapter 11, verse 9, these shall you eat, all that are in the waters, and whatsoever has fins and scales in the water, in the seas and the rivers, them shall ye eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, and all that move on the waters, and any living thing which is in the waters, shall be an abomination unto you. They shall be even an abomination unto you. He says it twice. You shall not eat of their flesh, but you shall have their carcasses in abomination. Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, they shall be an abomination to you. 3 times. The letter of the law states that the Most High commands us not to eat certain things, so we follow those instructions. However, when we're exposed to enticing advertisements from places like Red Lobster or some other restaurant, we may begin to question if the Most High's laws is depriving us of something enjoyable or worthwhile. But the spirit of the law reveals that creatures such as lobster, crab, shrimp, oysters, clams, mussels, and octopus are not considered delicacies, but rather scavengers. They subsist by feeding on decaying matter, dead organisms, and organic material that accumulate at the bottom of the water bodies, including deceased creatures. Consuming these creatures listed, which are deemed abominations, can lead to various health issues, and in some cases, even violent deaths. Understanding the spirit behind the law makes it easier to follow. Another example of the spirit of the law is the Sabbath, starting with Matthew chapter 12, verse 1. At that time, Yeshua went out on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungered, and began to pluck the ears of the corn to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thou disciples do that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath day. But he said unto them, Have you not read what David did when he was hungered, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of Elohim, and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priest? Or have you not read in the law how on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you, in this place one is greater than the temple. But if you had known what this means, I would have mercy and not sacrifice. You would not have condemned the guiltless, for the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. According to the letter of the law, it is stated that rest on the seventh day is mandatory, regardless of the circumstances. However, the spirit of the law suggests that while men are indeed meant to rest on the seventh day, certain exceptions can be made in the case of emergencies, unexpected situations, where deviating from the normal course of action is necessary and can be excusable. Now let's read John chapter 7, verse 21. Yeshua answered and said unto them, I have done one work, and ye marvel. Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers. And ye on the Sabbath day circumcise a man. But if a man on the Sabbath day receives circumcision, and the law of Moses should not be broken, are you angry at me, because I have made a man every whit whole on the Sabbath day? Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. The Sabbath holds a significant place. The spirit of the law emphasizes the importance of both men and women taking a day off from work and coming together for worship and devotion to the Most High. However, it should not be enforced in a way that disregards someone's urgent needs. Additionally, Yeshua informs the Israelites that circumcision takes precedence over the Sabbath. In other words, it is more crucial for a male child to be circumcised on the 8th day than one performing the circumcision to rest on the Sabbath. Understanding these subtleties requires a grasp of the spirit of the law. These verses in Romans and Corinthians reflect Paul's teachings on the limitations of the external, legalistic observance of the law and the need for a deeper inward transformation of the heart. Paul emphasizes that true obedience to Elohim comes from a spiritual relationship with Yeshua, an empowering presence of the Holy Spirit, rather than the strict adherence to the letter of the law. A spiritual relationship requires understanding the intent behind the commandments of the Most High. I'm not sure why many Christians believe that a spiritual relationship comes from avoiding the commandments of the Most High. As Jeremiah said, starting with Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 15, Hear ye and give ear, be not proud, for the Most High has spoken. In other words, obey the commandments of the Most High, don't be proud. Jeremiah 13, verse 16, Give glory to the Most High your Elohim before he caused darkness and before your feet stumble on the dark mountains. And while you look for light, he turn it into the shadow of darkness and make it gross darkness. If you continue believing that the Most High's laws are abolished, the Most High himself will lead you in dark places that you will not be able to find your way out. And even after you may realize you have made a wrong turn and you start to look for light, the Most High will lead you into an even darker place. Verse 17, But if you will not hear, my soul shall weep in secret places for your pride, and my eye shall weep sore and run down with tears because the Most High's flock is carried away captive. My soul has wept for many people that I've met that believe that the Most High's laws are abolished. They do not understand that the Most High's people went into slavery and continue to suffer because of their pride. They refuse to keep the sacred commandments of the highest. It is important to consider the broader context of Paul's writings and consult other related verses. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 3. For as much as ye are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Yeshua, ministered by us, written not with ink, but in the spirit of the living Elohim, not in tables of stone, but in fleshly tables of the heart. If the law is written in your heart, in the fleshly tables of the heart, it means that you will willingly do it. It does not mean that the law is abolished. Romans chapter 3, verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? Elohim forbid it. Yea, we establish the law. Paul explains that the spirit of the law is not to abolish the law, it is established. In essence, the letter of the law demands blind obedience, but such obedience is prone to failure due to human nature. On the other hand, the spirit of the law is a divine gift bestowed on us by the Most High. It reveals the deeper understanding of the laws and guarantees a 100% chance of success. When we truly comprehend that certain animals are considered disgusting and are abominable, we will never purposely consume them. The same principle applies to all the laws of the Most High. The deeper understanding is required. The Spirit, or the Holy Spirit himself, is the spirit of the law. He provides the deeper understanding. Do we make void the law through faith? No, we establish the law. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.